Hello, everyone. Good to connect and great to see you here. So we're going to start our relatively short webinar about product market fit. So it's good to have you here. Before we start, it would be great if we can get a little bit of information about you in the chat. Where are you from? What are you working on, and so on. We want those small sessions to also be an opportunity for all of us to connect a little bit, get to know our next co-founder, client, investor, whatever we have. So it would be really great if you can introduce yourself in the chat. I'm going to do the same, and we're going to start in 1 minute. So thank you. Great. So see, we have one brave person from Switzerland that did it. So thank you, Cloud. A Swiss startup. That's really interesting. I was there a month ago for a summit in St. Gallen, so that's great. Good. And if any of you want to continue presenting yourself, feel free, and we can take it away. While we do this talk, feel free to also ask questions. That's one of the reasons why we're here, and the idea is to help you maybe with your own personal struggles as you're building your own startups. Let me just share my screen with the presentation so we can get started. Just a second. Great. Excellent. And feel free to continue presenting yourself as we speak. I'm going to check the chat from time to time to see if you have any questions or anything that that is not clear. So today we're speaking about product market fit for startups. My name is Eli David Rokah. I'm the CEO of StartupBlink. This is my email if you need me. Product market fit is probably the most important subject that we have when we build a startup. I don't think there is anything more important. It took me a while to understand that, honestly, but once I understand it, it's really has been quite a discovery. I do want to say that this talk is done together in partnership with IBM, IBM Startup Program. So this is a program that basically gives you a lot of, it's first of all free, equity, no equity, free of charge. It gives you mentorship from IBM Network, which is a great network of mentors. You can pitch your solution to IBM clients and investor network. This is huge. They have an amazing client base, so definitely recommended. And they also give you a lot of credits to use Watson, which is the first AI model out there, to integrate it in your business. So I'll just share it in the chat before we get going. That would be IBM startup link. So there you go. Yeah, thank you. My team also shared this. Great. Okay, so let's speak a little bit about product market fit. That's why we're here. Before we do a little bit of the topics for today, we're going to do a brief introduction of StartupBlink. We're going to define what is product market fit, what are the levels for product market fit. We're going to talk a little bit about the 4 Ps that are comprising product market fit, and then give you signs to understand if you have it or you don't have it, which is very, very important. So quickly about StartupBlink. We have a global startup ecosystem map with about 200,000 startups. Everyone can add their startup for free. And if you add your startup for free, you're also going to see very cool things like the ranking of your startup in your city, in your country, in your region, in your industry, in your sub-industry, just like you see over here in the screenshot. So it's a pretty cool tool, and definitely something that we really like using for ourselves as well. StartupLink is also ranking the startup ecosystems of 1,000 cities and 100 countries around the world, working in partnership with more than 100 with government. So that's something that we're also doing. And I'll just say that actually your ecosystem has a lot to do with product market fit. So there are, if some of you know, Naval Ravikant is one of my favorite startup people in the world, is saying that there are basically three big questions that we have to answer. The first question is, what are you working on? The second question is, who are you working with? And the third question is where you are. Now, where you are is going to heavily impact your chances of success. And it's also going to heavily impact your chances of achieving product market fit. Product market fit is easier in great startup ecosystems. So that's what we have in StartupBlink. There is a complete list of all the cities, of all the countries. I do want to tell you that unicorns, which are the startups with above 1 billion, successful self-funded startups, it doesn't matter what you want to be, self-funded, bootstrap, VC-backed, and so on, are mostly born in startup hubs, in locations that have a lot of startup activity. The hubs are basically giving you access to investors, high-quality clients, co-founders, team members, suppliers, knowledge base, emotional support, like-minded people, same mindset. All of those accelerate your quest towards product market fit as well. So it makes sense to choose your ecosystem wisely, and if necessary, also to move somewhere else. Unfortunately, sometimes we have to move. If you decide to stay, at least lead your ecosystem and take a role in growing it, because probably the worst thing you can do is stay as a passive player in an underperforming ecosystem. All the ecosystems are there, startupblink.com, and feel free to use it. It's totally free. Good. So see, we have a European event. We have someone from Switzerland, Klaus, and we also have Gionata from Italy. So that's great. Very cool. So good to see you guys and girls connecting with each other. Now to product market fit. So what do you need in order to achieve product market fit? And basically, we try to break it down into three things. First of all, you need a market. You need a market that is big enough to create a real opportunity. Okay, so that's the first thing. Then you also need demand. Is there a strong demand for your product? And in other words, are you really solving a real pain? That's a big thing for startups because unfortunately, most of us are not. And then after you have the demand, the question that you ask is there unit economics here? Let's say there is a great market and there is a lot of demand. Can I do it in a profitable way? So for example, companies like WeWork, for example, that have created amazing co-working spaces. The market was thrilled. There was so much demand and so on and so on, could not achieve profitability because the unit economics were not there. So basically the combination of the market demand and unit economics is necessary in order to have product market fit. Okay, if you have all of those things happening, then you're gonna achieve product market fit. So that's sort of like the story around it, and that's something that we have to ask ourselves in our startup if we have it, if those things are happening. And some of us that had startup and had to close them down, probably the answer to that is, yeah, I didn't really have the market or the demand, or actually I had them, but I didn't have the unit economic to grow this. So we live and learn, as they say. So that's the idea over here. Cool. So the next slide basically talks about why do startups die, which is a very, very important lesson because startups, just like people, they die, right? And the idea is that when we learn how do people die, we sort of know also what are the probabilities of us being affected by something. The same goes for startups. You can learn a lot from those charts and to understand what do you need to be careful of. Now, this is something from CB Insights that try to analyze the 20 top reasons of why startups are dead. And you would see over here that a lot of the reasons are actually product market fit related. No market need. Remember, demand, no demand. This is 42% of the cases of people that said why their startup died. They said, look, there was no demand, basically. Okay. Ran out of cash. Also product market fit. When you have product market fit and there is a lot of demand in unit economics, you're not going to run out of cash. Problem, product market fit. Not the right team. This happens a lot. There is a lot of conflicts between team members. However, I have to tell you, never in the history of the world was there a company that closed down because of conflicts between the team that had product market fit. The reason is that when a company makes a lot of money, when a company finds demand and has unit economics, those problems are solved. You can solve it by paying someone to leave. You can solve it by separating yourself from other departments and so on. So those things go away when you have product market fit. Got out competed, someone had better product market fit, a product that addresses bigger demand or a better unit economics. Again, everything you see here is product market fit. Pricing and cost issues. Again, product market fit. You couldn't price it high enough. There was no product market fit because there was not a real pain that you were solving. User unfriendly product, again, product market fit. You couldn't create demand. So everything here as a founder basically points you towards the holy goal of finding product market fit. There is basically nothing else in the end. It took me a lot of time to understand that, surprisingly, and I'm hoping that maybe this would help everyone here to understand this faster, so you can focus on what matters. Okay, so because product market fit is a little bit challenging to measure and define, let's talk a little bit about some quotes, okay, that could give us a little bit of clarity. So Mark Andreessen, who is the co-founder of Andreessen Orbits, is saying the following: one of the biggest VC funds in the world is basically saying, look, product market fit means being in a good market with a product that can satisfy that market. That's it, simple. Andy Rachlev from Wealthfront is saying, if you're unsure if you have product market fit, then you don't have it. So if someone thinks here, and I think about this often, do we have product market fit in StartupBlink? Basically, this answers the question. If you're not sure, you don't have it, because when you have it, you know. It's like a avalanche. You're just rolling like crazy. When you have it, you will know. And I think that one of the moments that we're all looking for is basically to have it, to feel like we're having it, because it's probably an amazing moment when everything goes in your direction. Product market fit, again, is challenging to measure, but no company with product market fit ever failed. There is no example of a company that found product market fit and failed unless they did something illegal. Okay, like I don't know, selling drugs. Yeah, you have product market fit, but it's illegal, then you would fail. But if it's legal and you have product market fit, you'll be okay. You will simply not be able to fail. And that again shows why product market fit is so critical. A few things that are worth sharing about product market fit. So product market fit is challenging to measure, like we said, but again, nobody failed. The reason why businesses, not startups, businesses have much higher chances of survival is because they choose an activity that has validated product market fit. So if you're looking at, if you're opening a coffee shop, you sort of have product market fit. Of course, if you open it in the middle of the desert, you don't because there is no demand. But if you open a coffee shop in the city, then you have product market fit because you already validated that people want to drink coffee. You don't need to validate. Other people did it for you. Startups, you're trying something that nobody really tried, something innovative, scalable, and so on. The problem is that you have to even verify that there is demand and unit economics. That's why businesses sometimes are better to open than startups. That's the difference. The problem with the businesses, of course, is that because they arrive late, the first coffee shop was a startup. The 1 million coffee shop is not a startup because they arrive late. They have a lot more competition as a late mover and lack of scalability. So we're too late to start something that scales. That's the beauty in startups, but we do have to say that also startups have a massive disadvantage. You have to discover product market fit. Businesses already have it. A product with network effect makes product market fit a real flywheel. So if you have something style Facebook, that every person that joins makes the product more valuable, product market fit is much more, it's a flywheel, it's much more faster. It doesn't have to be this way. Like network effect is not 100% needed for product market fit, but basically it allows you to have product market fit on steroids in a way. You can do without it, but it just helps a lot. And there is something from Uri Levin, who is an Israeli entrepreneur that I really like, and he has a good book And basically he's also the founder of Waze, and that we're all using, I guess, for navigation in the streets. And basically he's saying, fall in love with the problem, not with the solution. It's very, very important because we as entrepreneurs are usually falling in love with the solution, what we want to build, and not with the problem. I also want to say that some of this lecture is based on First Round Capital, which have a great free course on the topic. So you can see it at pmf.firstround.com. So really, they're really trying a lot to unlock this product market fit issue for the startup. So recommended. This is something from them. And they basically show that there are levels of product market fit. Basically, you start with a nascent level. You have some initial customer demand satisfaction, but not repeatable, not scalable. Then it's developing. You have a growing demand at customer satisfaction, but still hard to acquire and retain customers. Then it becomes strong, widespread demand, high quality satisfaction, and so on, but still struggle to scale. And then the holy grail, extreme, you have widespread demand that for a product that satisfies critical need. You can deliver the product repeatedly and efficiently, and this is the ultimate goal. So that's the idea, and they basically say that this thing takes from 2 to 6 years, so we need a lot of patience as well. So that's good. Excellent. Now a little bit about the elements that create product market fit. Those are the 4 P's, as they are called. It's basically persona. Who are you selling to? Problem. What are you solving? Product. What are you building? And promise. What do you promise to solve in a way? And I'm adding one more, which is pivot. Okay. The idea is that as you're building your product market fit between those 4 ingredients, you jump from one to the other. You keep on pivoting of basically changing them. So if this persona didn't work, you go for this persona. If the product doesn't work, you change it. If the problem doesn't seem like it's painful enough, you change it as well. If the promise of what you want to deliver is not appealing enough, you change it as well. So the idea is keep on iterations on those 4 Ps in order to achieve product market fit. Okay, so a little bit about the persona. Basically, who would benefit most from your product? The idea is to identify specific personas that are facing challenges and then determine if it's too wide or too narrow. So, for example, Airbnb, they played big. They started with hosting conferences attendees with air mattresses. It was very, very small niche, air mattresses and conference attendees only. And they basically said, look, this is a big enough problem to actually offer to basically everyone, all the personas in the world. So they greatly expanded their personas, but in the beginning, they started very, very focused towards this specific segment in a way. So that's very interesting. The second thing is the problem. Basically, the idea is it urgent and important problem for your persona? If it's not painful for your persona, again, fall in love with the problem, not your solution, probably you're not going to make it. And the idea is that you want to ensure the problem is critical and provide significant relief if solved, and constantly iterate and change. Okay, maybe I thought I was solving this problem. It doesn't seem that big. Let's solve this problem. So that's the idea. For example, Zoom solved the problem before COVID for basically for corporates, and then when COVID happened, they basically said, look, everyone has this problem now. Let's solve it also for schools, for businesses, for individuals, for families, and so on and so on. So they change basically both the personas and also which problem are they helping with. The problem was helping corporates communicate better, and now it's basically helping the world connect and so on. So that's the idea. Then you have, of course, the promise. The promise is basically what is your value proposition? What do you promise if people are going to use this thing, your product? And basically, it has to do a lot with great communications. You need to articulate what is the problem that you're solving. Why is your product the best? Which persona does it address? So that's something that is interesting. And then last but not least, you have the product. Basically, does your product actually deliver on the promise? Because if you say, look, I'm solving the problem of of a big disease happening in the world, let's say whatever, and the promise is to basically make you healthy, and then the product actually doesn't deliver, it's not going to help. So the idea here is that basically you have to ensure that your product meets the needs and expectations of your of your persona in a way. So that's the idea over here. Let's talk a little bit about science to identify product market fit, although we talked about it. If you're not sure that you have product market fit, you probably don't have it. But of course, there are many, many levels like we've seen, and you're probably going to be somewhere in between. So it's interesting to kind of figure it out. So the first one is basically a lot of demand. If there is lines out of the door, everyone wants what you've got. Maybe even your capacity is limited, and there's so many people that want it that you can't even deliver. Good sign. High customer satisfaction, basically people are staying, they are renewing their contracts. If they have monthly, they don't churn out of the contracts and so on. So that's a great sign that basically you're solving a problem and you do it effectively. And of course, efficient operation, you have to be in a situation that you can actually scale this thing. If it's not scalable, like let's say many people want it, but you can't deliver it to many people, you're stuck because of sort of a bottleneck or limitation, then you don't really have a product market fit. You probably have more something that is a service or consulting, but not necessarily a product. And that's what you need, a product for product market fit. So that's the idea. Lack of repeatability, like basically you're struggling to find consistent patterns. Every client wants something else. And again, that means that you're delivering a customizable service, not a product. And that's a problem. It's great, by the way. There are great businesses that do it, like McKinsey and Deloitte and so on, but it's not a product. It's not a scalable product. Low customer satisfaction, basically they're not very satisfied, or they're actually churning out, or actually almost not using it. It sounds good, but then someone you tries it once and says, you know what, not really. And then if you see this, that's a very, very, very bad sign that basically what you're solving is not really a problem. It might be more of a vitamin and not an aspirin. Stagnant growth, basically you want to grow very fast as a startup over here. If the growth is not rapid enough, it's another bad sign. And difficulty scaling. You see that when you want to basically scale it to other countries, to other cities and so on, it's extremely difficult. Again, that means that you have a product market fit issue. One of the biggest signs, by the way, is the question. This question is very hard to ask as founders, is how many people will have a bad day if they learn that your startup is closing? And in many, many cases, the answer is zero. And most of us have to admit and face it, that actually the answer is zero or up to 5 or up to 10. When something that has product market fit closing, people go crazy because their life quality is now being affected. So in a way, that's sort of like maybe the test of the product market fit. So yeah, basically the conclusions over here are as following. You have to play with those 4 Ps, the problem, promise, persona, product, until you achieve product market fit. It requires a lot of iterations. The Deep is a book by Seth Godin. He's talking about like a period that you just have to do things without knowing if they work or not. We're talking about at least 6 to 12 months of iterations, maybe even 2 years. It's difficult, not less, not more. Like you can't give up too early, but you also can't give up. You also don't want to continue too late. If there is no product market fit and you just continue and continue with the same thing, probably it's not going to work. The path to extreme product market fit requires constant iteration, a lot of customer feedback, not what we think, what the problem is, not our solution. We're always obsessed about the solution. And the last thing, of course, as a founder, don't forget that finding product market fit is your first job. There is nothing more important. That's pretty much it. You can email us at feedback@startupblink.com if you have any questions. And we're going to do a lot of those conversations. Once again, opportunity. IBM has a startup program. It's open for everyone. It's free. You want to connect with IBM clients, investors, and so on. IBM.startuplink.com. Feel free. And that's pretty much it. If you don't have any questions, we're pretty much done here. So short and sweet and to the point. And we hope to see you also in our next webinar. So it's been a pleasure. And I hope you're all now going to work on your product market fit. So good luck with that and see you around. Have a good one. Bye-bye.